Hi there, all you lovely people. I'm Brianna,
I'm Amber.
and here's some Saturday morning Reddit. It's just a bit, folks. I'm not gonna do it the whole time, unless you want Brianna to be your host one of these days. I can do a Brianna pretty well, a very fake Southern accent. Don't ask me why Brianna has a Southern accent. I don't know. All right, folks. Our first letter is titled, "Am I a jerk for revealing who I am only after getting married?" I'm a 26-year-old female, and I got married to my partner, a 29-year-old male, in July of this year. We dated mostly long distance, but decided that I would move in with him after the wedding. Seeing that we didn't have much face to face time, every time I visited or he came to me, I did my best to make sure that everything was perfect. When I stayed at his house, I used my free time to help him do housework, cleaning and cooking, just to make his life easier when we were together. I didn't realize that I was setting a precedent, and that's where I think I can be the jerk. We got married and soon started having problems with the household chores. We both work full time, I work from home and he doesn't, but I still expected to split the tasks equally. But he started complaining about it, and it got on my nerves. He's a grown man who lived completely well before me. He can do housework just as well as I can. Well, yesterday I finally said enough, and I sat down with him and asked him the motivation behind the constant complaints. We talked about the division of duties as soon as we got back from our honeymoon, and I was confused. And he replied that he didn't know how to say this once we had this conversation, but that every day he feels more betrayed because I lied about who I was when we were dating. When I visited him, I did everything at home to help him because I wanted to take care of him during our time together. And he said that he feels trapped in a marriage with someone who turned out to be different, and that he has lost trust in me because I showed myself to be a manipulative liar. I'm feeling down as I understand in hindsight what my actions on my visits conveyed to him about our future life together. But at the same time, I don't know if I'm the jerk. I feel it's unfair of him to expect me to be responsible for everything in our house. What's my judgment? Am I the jerk, making him think that I would be another kind of partner than what I really am? And I'm going to read this stuff real quick because there is an info comment here. And Beluzi says, "Info, what do you mean that you didn't have much face to face time with the person that you were going to marry? How often did you see each other? How long were you together?" And OP replies, "We were together for a year and 4 months before the wedding. We saw each other every 3 months or so, usually for a week." And Bees Lewis replies, not the jerk, "It doesn't matter how you behaved on your visits. Visits don't set a precedent for real life. Were you working on your visits or did you have time off too?" And OP replies, "It depends. Sometimes I manage to make it all up in the hours and take the week off, and sometimes I still needed to work but with less hours." All right, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk.
Oh, okay. That
Well,
was a that was a very
I
long.
I lost my train of thought and I'm trying to regain it and I do not.
So, I mean, I'll continue the train of thought then. So, my thoughts are that OP, you two probably need marriage counseling more than
Mhm.
anything at this point in time. It seems like you two had very different expectations going into marriage. These should have been conversations you had well before,
Mhm.
signing that marriage certificate. You two probably have a lot of other missed conversations, if I had to make a guess, about what your expectations for marriage are. Hopefully, you talked about things like kids, whether or not you two want to have kids, and whether where you want to live, and all kinds of other conversations. There are a lot of important conversations to be had, and I think chore distribution is probably one of those.
Mhm. Well, and Okay, I cannot keep a train of thought this morning. I'm sorry. I'm too tired.
Amber's apparently a very tired Amber. It's all right. I really feel like this is almost like a manipulation
Yes,
tactic.
that's what I wanted to say.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay.
No, you go.
Well, why don't let Amber to talk?
Yeah, this seems really manipulative, especially where he's saying that you're being manipulative. That's a common tactic that manipulators will do is they'll try and be like, "You're manipulating me," and yeah, it just feels like he didn't have this conversation on purpose so that he could just kind of like
Well, I don't know if it was on purpose. I just think that maybe he didn't, maybe he did, but you would think that something would come up about how the chore distribution was expected to be before marriage, right? Or after marriage.
well, I assume, like, my guess here is that he wants OP to do all the chores, and he didn't want to lay that out before the marriage and be like, oh, yeah, by the way, I expect you to do all the chores. So now he's trying to do kind of not a bait and switch, but, basically like, oh, well, you implicitly agreed to this, so why aren't you
Yeah.
doing all the chores?
Well, I mean, in some ways, it's a bait and switch, right? Because he was pretending to be one type of person, and now he's another type of person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe they've bait and switched each other. I think that there's a lot of dialogue that needs to happen before two people get married, and having a handful of visits over the course of a year and a half is not really enough to get to know someone well enough. You two probably should have had a lot more face to face time, I think, before getting married. And it's going to be rough from here on out. And if you want things to work, then I think you do need to seek marriage counseling. But I don't also think you can let him walk all over you here, because if he walks all over you here, he's going to get the idea that he can do that anytime there's something that he wants.
Right. Well, and there's no reason why when you're both working full time, why you should be responsible for all the housework.
Mm-hmm. So I think that this is just a matter of communication needed to be had, and wasn't had. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Shady Lady 27 says, excuse me? He feels manipulated? No, absolutely not. If anything, you thought you were marrying someone who would be a partner, and so far he's doing a poor job of that, not the jerk. Alright, folks, our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for yelling at my mom that I hate Harry Potter and to let me live my own life? And this one is an update from episode 423, so it's a little whiles back there, but it just popped up the other day, so we'll dig into it. Oh, and just for some backstory here a little bit, basically OP's family is obsessed with Harry Potter and fantasy and whatnot, and tried to make OP do all these things that they didn't want to do, and they kind of rebelled against it. So let's get started. Hi, so I ended up moving in with Missy's family for a few months because it was all too much. It was really nice, but I ended up moving back out because I did miss my family, if you can believe it. Missy's mom helped me figure out how to talk to my mom and dad, and we sat down to air everything out. It really seemed like we were finally ready to let me be my own person and back off, and also that thing about the family making memories that don't have to do with a fandom. They all said that those things were so important to them and they wanted to share them. Well, for my birthday, they took us to see the Arches like I always wanted. On the road trip there, we listened to a fantasy young adult book that they all wanted to hear. I didn't really want to, but they were doing a nice thing for me, so I didn't complain. It wasn't that bad. But I still don't like fantasy. But lots of you have told me to just try with an open mind, and when you're driving through the desert, you kinda have to. When we got to the Arches, I felt really emotional, like when you have a really good day and you're waiting for the sun to set and everything to get dark again, because that's what feels comfortable. But then I ate so much pizza that my face smelled like cheese, and I felt a little better. On the ride home, when it was just me and Dad awake, he said that he was happy that I had come home and hopes that we can all get along better now that I don't feel so much anger towards them. But as time went on, things all went back to the way it was, and that's just how my family is. It's what my siblings are happy with, and what my mom and dad like, and it's not my place to tell them what to be and who they are. So I ended up making a big decision, and the reason that I wanted to pick now to write this update is that I'm going to college in Colorado. I received my early acceptance letter a few days ago, and I feel like I can breathe again. Not just that, but I will be starting a new life for the first time with a new name. one that my mom has helped me choose that has nothing to do with any media at all. I will be able to branch out and be myself, but I'll still be a car ride away from my nerdy parents for when I miss my mom's hugs and my dad's meatball subs. And that's all I really wanted to say. All right, folks. That was a nice, happy resolution to something, a story.
Hmm.
I think it's really good that OP is able to branch out and be their own person, and that they're going to college in a different place. You know, sometimes distance will help the heart grow fonder. Let's put it that way. And that's really the way it goes. And OP needed to be their own person, and their parents weren't giving them the space they needed. But I'm glad that they realized that they did need to give them a little space. And it's really nice that the mom helped pick out a new first name, that one that OP felt more comfortable in. So, yeah. Anyhow, take care and good luck in college, OP. All right, folks. Our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Proposing on My In-Laws' Wedding? So I'm a 34-year-old male, and I proposed to my now fiance, a 22-year-old female, on the wedding of my sister-in-law's wedding. To explain, yesterday, me and my fiance attended my sister-in-law's wedding. My fiance kept nudging me and hinting me that we should get married too. I decided that me and her were ready to get married, so being the ring keeper, I borrowed the wedding ring that was supposed to be used for the marriage before the bride even walked down the aisle. I quickly proposed to my now fiance, and everybody gathered around us and cheered. My brother and sister-in-law got mad. It then escalated into a huge rumble between me and my brother. My sister-in-law burst into tears and played the victim, apparently. And apparently I ruined the wedding, and I could have just waited another day to propose. I believe that she was overreacting. The police came, the wedding was called off. At the end of the day, my fiance happily accepted my proposal, but all of my family members have called me and screamed at me that I was a jerk and never to come in contact with them ever again. I feel a bit bad, and I try to apologize, but I feel like they should be the ones to apologize to me instead. So am I the jerk? All right, folks. What do you think of this one?
Yes, you're the jerk. Like, it's everyone knows you don't propose at someone else's wedding, but there's like an extra layer of like we stole their rings and proposed with them before they get married. Like,
Yeah, this one's just odd. You know, I think that this is a creative writing exercise if
that would
I
be
ever
my
saw
guess
one.
too.
Like the police are called. Like I mean, if the police are called and you still don't realize that you're in the wrong in a situation, then maybe you need to have some deep reflection.
Well, the thing that baffles me is that everyone is like applauding them, but then his whole
Yeah.
family hates
Yeah,
him.
everyone's applauds, then everyone hates them, and it's like
It's
pick a
like,
side,
yeah.
pick a lane. Everyone loves this or everyone hates this. That's what it really needs to be. So it's weird. If this really did happen, then yes, you're the jerk. Don't propose at other people's weddings and don't take people's wedding rings to propose with. It's just weird. It's not even an engagement ring. It's a wedding band, right? Like
Hmm.
she should would have been wearing her engagement band, I imagine. And it's just a bit odd. I find it very peculiar. So, OP, yes. Anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, it's tea time or coffee time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some coffee right here, and Amber's got a joke for us.
What is gray, has four legs and a trunk?
This is a trick question because they want us to say an elephant. It's gray. It has four legs and a trunk. I'm going to guess a very special gray car that has legs.
A mouse going on
A
vacation.
mouse going on vacation. Okay. That makes sense. That checks out. I don't know. I was like, a car has a trunk. If it's gray, then, you people get my reasoning, I hope. And like I said, I've got coffee. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. I hope you enjoyed this Saturday morning special. I hope you're all having a great weekend so far, and we will see you all tomorrow.
Bye.